3. Just feel and observe. You don't have to see, you may just feel or know. Just use all the senses and tell me what you feel. Or maybe you see or know something.
It's just darkness as purplish blue lights kind of streamlets moving through the darkness.
Perfect. And do you feel like it's enclosed space or open?
Open.
Does it feel cold or warm? How do you...
I'm comfortable.
What color are the lights that you see?
It's very, very dim. I can't say it's gray. I can't say it's brown.
It's like circles of lights. Do you feel me around you?
They're not taking form.
Right. You can get out of your body, let's say, and you can change the position of the observation. You can take a look at yourself from a third-person perspective from any angle you want. Do you see anything?
Not really.
Okay, here's what I see. I see you in a uniform. It's a dark fleet uniform. It's black. To me, what came is your position of like commander, because you have this just the head, but it's down and you're actually lying on the metallic table. And the reason why you see only gray, because it's like you're under the lights and they let's say suppressing your consciousness. Because I also see two eyes of a mantis staring at your face. He's holding that glass iPad and he's doing something on it with his right, those little legs, or what are they called? I see his eyes and then his body kind of disappears. It's almost like it's on the spaceship, because first thing I saw, it was like dark kind of gray spaceship. And then when you look inside, you go inside, it's everything is bright, but that particular room is semi kind of interesting design of it to be. Specifically, it's round. There's this table and then there's three reclining chairs to the side. And there's this mantis, and I see a little gray, and he's standing as if he's holding like a metallic tray. They're digging into your chest area. It's like they're fixing something. It looks like a metallic little soft woven kind of like fabric, but made out of metallic fibers. And they're covering, I see they're covering going over, it goes over your heart area. And then that tray, he takes something from the tray. It looks like a tube with them and that is screwed on type thing. And then he beams the light and that opening in your chest kind of like heals itself together, so you can't really see an incision or anything. And then they take you to the room, to a different room. Yeah, it's almost like a recovery room, and you were on some special mission or something. Wait, I see your spaceship you were on. It looks like two triangles merged together. There's like it's almost like a donut circle in the middle in between the two triangles, but they merged into it. And 7241, but that's a number. Was it E, letter E, 7241? It looks like, yeah, it looks like E dash 7241. 72, it means something. But I see like it zooms through some portals. It goes in a certain direction. The ship is programmed. The interesting thing is just the you sometimes you sit by the control, but there are two seats there. The second seat I don't see anybody, but what is interesting, it's like some sort of technology. When you get up and go, I still see like a holographic image of you controlling the ship. It's made out of little like dots and stars. If you zoom in, you can clearly see it's almost like snowflakes, but funky looking, and they're blending together. And that's how holographic image is formed. It's almost like the chair itself has a memory of you sitting in it and reconstructs your body. And then you go to it looks like a mechanical room of some sort, because there's a lot of metallic doors that you shift and move and open. Wait, there's like, you open one, there's a container. There's like a sliding table, metallic. And I see like a body of this is like a refrigerator. It's a body of an alien. It looks really interesting because it has this kind of like peachy skin, but over I don't know if it's male or female. It doesn't have gender, but it has the funny feathers over like growing out of the arms. And I clearly see the color. It's like turquoise and green and orange, orange at the end forming ovals. I don't know, do you see all of that I'm talking about?
I'm following you, but I'm not seeing it.
And it's like, so there is this layers of densities, and your ship, you have a clone on area 51. You have a clone exact image of you, clone there, because I see you at the same time at different kind of densities or levels. Because here I can touch you and everything, but you feel less dense. Area 51, you're like 3D, but I see you, it's like you're screaming in your head with, I want to say it's a Mitra being. It's a reptilian with his teeth very sharp. He is your boss there, the Area 51. What comes to me constantly is this name, Enkil. Enkil. That's his name. That's a clone's name. You do some computer statistics or something, but also some. You have a program in you. In that clone, he has a program, a software program in his brain. It looks like, because he somehow, there is some formulas, but not the formulas that we know. Those formulas create images, and you connect the images to form, let's say, a plan of whatever they tell you, of conquering something, of creating headquarters of Nordics, on some planet that the army just conquered. But there are different armies. I see I see black reptilians. That's the one. The very shiny skinned, yellow, bright yellow eyes, reptilian eyes. There's also like very tall green ones. Um, the faces look like that lizard, the dragon, and they're green, and they're very muscular. They have like very thick tails. They can kill with the tail too. If they hit you. And that computer has a lot of uh, it has a lot of files with spaceships, how they're built, then different plans of evacuation of the population of different planets, and or there's different plans how you conquer the planet. Sometimes you go by, it's just different protocols. That's all I see. Sometimes you take it over from inside. Sometimes you do both, from inside and outside, physically also, like a battle. And other times you just start microchipping the population. And microchipping the population is a way of brainwashing them. So you create a hive mind. You know what I see now? I see like on the screen an interesting thing. It's like a clock. It's not digital. It's like a Greek numbers, and it's upside down. I see 12 upside down here where 6 usually is. And it goes the opposite direction. And there's only one hand. It goes to the left, from right to left. And it's a spiral. It's a spiral of time. And that spiral of time can create a time tunnel, which you can connect to any timeline to launch your essence to any destination, any point of that particular timeline. And that's what your clone does. Kill. Um, it's you're all connected. You're like a triple. Because there's also a clone of you on the moon that exists, but he's in stasis now. It's like they punished him for something because he was rebellion. He was doing something against the programs. He didn't want to do what they inserted into him, and simply because you're you've been through a lot of programs. It's almost like in the Earth's terms, it would be diplomatic um, negotiation, but not by speaking, but uh, it's like packages of thoughts transferred to heads. You know how to do it. Not only that, you can telepathically speak like one sentence and then the other, but you can also speak and like transmit whole packages of information, and then they trained you. The training, it was on the moon, because on the moon I see some classes taking place at this particular timeline, but to me it comes like it's a null, perception. It's a null timeline. It's not happening now. They did something. They changed it. The way it was done, it was different. But because you were connected to both clones on the Area 51 and the one the one in stasis, but it was not in stasis back then. It's like you would receive different information through. It's like you're connected to computer. Your clone is connected to computer, and you're connected to the clone, and therefore you see different formulas. You see different diagrams. You see different pictures. You can see it's like a window computer in your head, and it made a huge impact on your physical, because you have access to that information and you can simply retrieve it when you are in that, and your subconscious was pushing you to learn techniques to retrieve that information. That's why you've been interested in what you've been interested in. The other thing is you are connected to James. There's for a reason why you met together. You know him from Dark Fleet. I see an interesting it's like it's not your typical award or medal on your suit. It's made out of gold and it's layered. He has 1, 2, 3 layers. They are oval, and they have some. It's like they have this little blue. Uh, yeah, I thought the word dots was light, but how do you explain that? But then when I touch them, these are like crystals embedded into the bigger layer, the base layer of this particular metal that is hanging on the left of your suit. And it's not like hanging like that's not like we have here on Earth. Oh boy, that's interesting. Look, oval, 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 and each one is smaller, and which one is on each other. And then when I touched the third one, the smallest one, I see the Nazi swastika. But it only appears when you hit it with your index finger. It literally does shows up. But then you take it away and it's nothing, just gold. There's some this thing has something to do with you being able to go to different timelines. First of all, you can somehow split yourself up in 4 parts, and you can be one solid one like in 3D, and then the other 3 would become holographic images, but it's hard to distinguish that it's a hologram until you touch it and it falls apart. And you can send them. That's what they've been doing. They've been using it. There's one big crocodile looking at me with yellow eyes and slits right now. He's wearing this first I saw him in a military type vest with some sort of devices, and now I see the same exact, looks like that's him in the white robe. The oh, I understand. They took you to the enhancement room where they enhance. There's a lot of capsules with clones, I see. There's a lot of tubes. There's a main tube coming from, actually I see it from the back of the neck and from up from the top of the head. And in your case, it's like they lay you down, this crocodile, and you have this, he clicks on, you have some metallic looking bracelets. From those bracelets, it's like you got extra, it's almost like an extra claw, extra hand with claws, very sharp claws. Let's go all the way back and see how you actually got into all of this, because it's like there's so much stuff and like it just makes me jump from one thing to another. But I did touch you, it's you. So we're in some sort of building, looks like a dome. It's on Mars, underground. There is a table, but the table turns into a screen. When your blue people, you call them blue people, sit around and watch it, those are the ones from, I'm trying to understand because you're telling me your planet is Lagu, like that. And there are interesting, the heads are shaped interestingly because it almost looks like feathers, but they're stoned, like the heart on the back of the heads, and the heads are kind of like, um, how to say it? Our faces are flat and their faces are kind of like more like a fish-like. But they have blue bodies, they have blue skin, and males, they have females and males. Males have green spots along the spine, and females don't do that, don't have that. And when you all five of you, it's like you on command or something, touch with your right hand the table, it turns into a screen, and it shows some spacecraft with a big, it looks like a tank, but it's embedded into the wall of the spaceship inside. And I see the same blue, you're an amphibian being for sure, because I see like those gales like right here. It's hard to see, but I do see them now. They're little. Because I see Grace loading lots and lots and lots of your people, blue people, amphibians, on their spacecraft. And it looks like a long capsule, metallic capsule. Like, and then they fly it to Mars, straight there. Some of them they do that, and others they just bring to the spaceship. When they bring them to the spaceship, they dump them into this tank. And the tank, it's not the water, it's some sort of goo. It's gooey, it's gel type substance. It looks bright green, and it's like some sort of life support, but it's only for 22%, 23, like that, and the rest is taken away from them because they're like swimming in stasis. They're still alive, by as if they went into delta brainwave type thing, like they're hallucinating, or like when we dream in a deep state of sleep type thing. I see a lot of them. It came to me is 57 in this particular tank. And how did they get you if you were protected with a dome? You just want to negotiate. See, the thing is, once you leave the territory of your own spacecraft, they grab you. It's like you lose your protection. And they cannot enter the spacecraft. It's a very interesting spacecraft. It has levels and levels and levels, different floors, and all floors look different. The only one thing that is the same, in the middle of the roof, it looks like they're all connected through this beam of light. It's a very strong beam of light, and it's almost like when we have electricity in our houses. The same idea. It connects all of the layers together. So let me see who is in charge of this particular, because now you're stuck working there. You were saying that you're stuck and you can't really be in your energy sphere. That's why you constantly get new information, which is making your head explode. Because what keeps coming to me is you have more than these clones. In the different periods of time, you had 18 clones. This is life number 361, lots of lives. Always being used for some just some programs, programs on Mars, Moon, Jupiter, different projections of Earth. Number 9 and 13 that you're telling me, which are slightly different but yet the same. A lot of it is under the guidance of Nordics and Force Reich that you said to me. And you were in this, literally, it's like you were on some sort of mission or in a group, but you got a lot of experience. You didn't want necessarily to go by to do the missions by yourself, but you were more like a wise person who would give advice. But something happened there, because I see there is a round spherical, it looks like a cloud. It looks like a soft metal, but it's completely round, and it reflects space and all the colors of space, and when it shoots down to our atmospheric levels through them, and then you see how it reflects the clouds, and from below you think it's a cloud, but it's not. It's a spaceship. it's just amazing technology of invisibility that mimics things around. Um, I suspect if there was a plane flying by it, he could easily take shape and form of a plane. So nobody suspects anything like that. There's a lot of lives, but they primarily wanted to do clones. They would take you from the age of 5 and 6 and get your genetic material. There's also, I bet you have some missing times or something like this, because they see like you've been taken a lot, really a lot by them. The thing is, you have this ability to see reptilians, let's say, somewhere where people don't see them. Because if you, um, basically, I'm sure you've had this in your life when you would go to some place and, like, let's see, mountains or something like this, like or woods, and you would see a reptilian walking around, and you would tell everybody else who was with you that there's a reptilian, and they would say, no, there's no reptilian. Why are you saying that? But you can see since you were little. And you could really see them. You could talk to them telepathically, and seeing them and talking to them. It's like an imaginary friend, except it was always changing because they wanted to expose you to as many programs as possible to see which would suit you best. But you're like strategy oriented. You have this strategic planning in you, and you have this very clear mind that can put like everything on each shelf needed. So what I see you doing now is you're just canceling all the moments where they would take you in this life and others, and so they don't get your genetic material. When I said that, I see how the timeline that you basically cut out the timeline when they created clones from your DNA. You were, you were like a pilot of World War II, because I see you flying a plane. Very interesting plane too. And you also had lives in Great Britain, Poland, Czech, Germany, a lot. Germany. Um, I see they've also, it's like they created the software based on your life in Germany, and so you know the language. Because you've also been to different, you've been to this, let's say you go on a mission in Dark Fleet, and then after this mission, because you're tired and you need to recover, they send you to this interesting, it's like a place with beautiful, like almost like a toy village with beautiful houses with red roofs, brick. Some of them are white, but not as many. Mostly are brown and like red brick color. And those kind of like either dark green or maroon rooftops or red. No, these colors are so different. And there are those soldiers or commanders or um other what do you call them, clones and also non-clones, rest and recuperate, and they're just supposed to observe the energy of that place, because the base of it connected to a lot of human beings. It's like a huge egregora, and it's like the sand. It's like an imprint of your clone that is still connected to you, but you can totally see that you're lying in the sun, you're relaxing, and the whole thing is like an illusion with an illusion. You're not really there, it's just an illusion. It's an optical illusion, and you're like hallucinating in some sort of tank. Again, they put you in a tank with that solution. Right now, I see it like a more like a blue type gel with a greenish, a little bit shade of green, and you're kind of moving back and forth, and there's some sort of device, but it's inside. It's not outside. It's inside your head that makes you watch like a movie or some sort of hallucination because it's not a movie. You're really feeling like you're participating and you're doing it, but actually you're not. It is as if they took a biorobot and something was wrong with that biorobot. They would take the biorobot on their special platform they created in space, and they create this, they cover it with a energetic dome, but it's much like a screen. On the screen there's a projection, but you don't really see pictures. You just see some sort of dots and they're moving. As I understand this, this is encoded formulas for something, and it's like those dots, they shoot like needle thin energies towards you yourself here, physical body, and they're trying to communicate with you what you need to do, because the essence is also involved in it. So you're just using it as a tool to kind of shake you up, wake you up, so you can get rid of all this crocodiles, reptilians, black reptilians, what I saw before, and because what they're doing to you. Let's go to the previous life before this life. Palestine. This is another clone. No, let me go to non-clone life. Spain. What came to me right away? I thought it was Spain. I just saw like lots of palm trees and Palma de Mallorca. Just right away, just came. I see there's a guy there, and your name is George. By you're a son of some diplomat there. Let me go further. There's nothing really happening in this life, except they're taking up to 62% of your energy, but there's really nothing you do anyway. So when your body dies at the age of 82, it's like your essence, that part of your essence that they have on their spaceship, connected to to real you in that tank, sucks you in there. And it's like in this tanks, it's like fish lays eggs. They have the energetic substances in different forms and shapes because they reshape themselves. Found like that. Just stop at something because I see so many things. Anyway, there's a one important thing. There is some sort of half. It's only half ring here, right here. And that's why you cannot fully open your abilities, because the thing is with you, when you go into trance, you go past that ring. So you make your essence shoot yourself up to the um, out, and it's almost like you created some sort of mechanism to do it. It's like that particular pipe that they use, for spying from the submarine. You pass that when they block you completely, you pass it, and then little pipe comes out. Sorry, and you still see it. So that's your way. By you've been involved in a lot of. There's a program. It's Osmos 8. I don't know what it is. Let's see, because but I clearly saw how it's called. It's something about the infiltrating ecosystems of different planets and galaxies. But I see that was precisely the life when you start into rebellion, because you realize you're being used for their purposes, and it's not you who decided that you wanted to do it. But you're always connected to those blue people, as you call them, your planet, because you're an amphibian being. You take it. Let's go back to your energy sphere. Take off the ring from your head. There's a metallic plate in the chest area. I feel like it's designed to kind of cover up the whole chest so your essence cannot move. Let's say they blocked the heart before with that net, metallic net, which you're taking it all out. I see you put the half ring, metallic net, and then yeah, did all of that. Down. There are some vertical, it's almost like metallized, as if they put antennas into you. There are 4 of them, 2 in front, 2 in the back. You're pulling them out, and now you're drawing a portal with your finger and opening it and throwing it out. But there's another thing. You have these boots on your feet, and they're not just the regular boots of the uniform. They're just they're not supposed to be with you. So, and I also hear sometimes you get like I told you, you're connected to that computer, and you get uploads, and sometimes even probably hear voices, because when in the process of getting the upload, you're also strongly connected to that round table group of your people when you discuss how the timelines are changing, and you're watching. You're basically an observers and advisors, and you're sitting right on the platform, right by Earth. You don't want to go into the dome because it's dangerous. You may not be able to get out, because right now different devices like colliders and other machines, satellites create a network of how I see it's like a spider web of lights, and they're all connected, and they create this electromagnetic field in the in which can kind of like block you from raising your vibration and getting out. Um, and they definitely don't want any, let's say, people on, not beings on spying missions, beings who can share the good information and help. They're trying to push all they can, all they're doing all they can do to push it out. And also there's a layer which looks exactly like that too, like as if satellite system all around created layers and layers of layers. One of them is, it has some sort of little it's like a beeswax, right? It has little holes in it, and each one has a plug, and from plug goes like a cord, like a black wire, and the black wire goes into different people connected to it on Earth now. So I basically I see motherships and platforms all together above Earth right now, and you're showing me that some of them are observers, some of them are translators of information to to the to the beings with souls, to people with souls who are here just to hold space energetically. So if you hold space energetically like you are doing now, that space wouldn't be available to be invaded and infested by AI. There's We're also living through a segment on the timeline of chaos and suppression of free will, and also they're trying to implement this one thing. And in this chaos, you're bringing the calmness and you're bringing the strategic planning to the whole thing. Hmm. They're interesting, like signs. There's also a sign, it looks like when you draw a fish like this, and there's three of them. There's so many different geometric it's like a concussion of geometric figures, of geometric shapes. It's like a concoction of it. It's hard to explain. It's really interesting thing. But I also see you on the Rhine drawing something. Mm, you're drawing some. Oh, you're drawing how the mechanism, how the engine of the round flat spaceship works. You also designed some spaceships that are absolutely transparent, and they are called chameleon ones. They blend into space easily, so nobody see them. That's like an invisible mode. But on Orion, you look different. So I can describe you. You have this yellowish skin, big kind of dark blue eyes, human looking. There's some percentage of Lyran in you too, but it's connected through one of the lives when you dealt with Lyrans. But then they started getting infiltrated by the Greys, and then Greys came to their planet and said that they. So, and Yeah, you drew a lot of spaceships. There are different shapes and forms. There's one like a cylindrical, but on one side it has like at a certain angle it has like a beak. It's almost like a bird's beak, but it's supposed to grab and take as an anchor, grab into the any space. No matter what universe, what galaxy you go to, what part of our universe you go to, you can anchor yourself to different density layers to create like an observation laboratory. That's what you're doing. You observe, write down what you learned through observation, and then create. But you're very good with a pencil, with the sketches, with things like that, and the mind's imagination. So in the etheric and in the physical. So you took off those boots, you threw them out too. Eliminated all those times when they would take your DNA. Then I didn't see any more clones. Even that clone from Area 51 disappeared. I see there's a new clone, but I also see this reptilian who is holding some brown kind of color book, which has some rules and regulations how they function. So let's go see what kind of contract, if there are any. Yes, there is a contract. It's a green folder. It's right there. It's just like a computer room on the moon. You're getting in there. You're axing everything out that belongs to you. You're saying if the enemy gets this information, we're doomed. You signed a contract for 55 lives. By some of your lives you were directly involved with SSP, others were just they were siphoning your information, your experience at the physical level, because they had to balance what they do in non-physical with the physical, and it's getting more and harder to balance, to create a balance. So DNA thing. DNA has, so basically, it has some tubulars embedded into it. They look orange and dark gray. Again, those colors. You're just taking them out because it's kind of like the strands of DNA were all put on a long, connected to a long tubular, or hard to explain, but they were inactivated by being connected. And it's like when you pierce something with a needle, they were pierced through, therefore you couldn't get to them. Every time they would take you to spaceship and they would want to send you to some mission, first of all, you would have time essence. Second of all, they would, through those tubulars, they would connect those cords that I saw your clones had, and they would give you a boost of energy for that. And also they have all kinds of devices. It almost looks like a big white metallic ring that goes down like this. And when you put it on, it shoots images to your brain at very fast speed, And the brain is supposed to put together a story because it's like a software. It puts together a story of what you're supposed to do, and then you do it. You go on a mission for that. A lot of times they would tell you that to save some certain uninfected, they would be uninfected humanoid firm star races whose civilization was almost completely destroyed, but your job would be to fly there and get the ones who still survived, because the DNA database is very important, not only for those tools that are Grace, no, also for Nordics. They both are all about that. So, but yeah. So DNA, you corrected the DNA. Those tubules are out. It's like the pop like balloons. When you took them out, you didn't really have to throw them or burn them or anything. Speaking of burning, there is a book that you already burned. You canceled it out. You deleted it on computer screen in that computer room. But now I see that green book right in your energy sphere where you created a table and put it there temporarily. And when you open it, I see multiple. It's almost like energy, human shaped out of energy. And then there are techniques how to create different groups of soldiers who possess different characteristics of different star races. Therefore, they can add to the pool of DNA, of genetic material. They can be used for creating a super human race that the Force Reich is all concerned about. I promise to. So there is a double. It's a two-way promise. They promise you to release you after it switches. It's like a trick, something. 5 changes to 50. It's like they promised you to release your soul, your essence, and so you could be free after 5 lives, which lasted 50 lives. Of the same exact thing, you're doing sketches for them, you're figuring out systems. How you know this? Because on your planet everybody does. Plus, you've been to other planets, so you learned from them. But that particular book, you're creating like a metallic container. It looks like a bowl, and you put the book of contracts into it. You put fire. You just burn it up because you decided to be free. You don't want to be. You just refuse to be influenced by any sort of race. There's another race that I see those mitras with. I don't know how they're called, but they look like humans, but they have this brick red skin, very thin noses, and teeth are very sharp. They almost look like, you would say, like a devil, but it's not. It's just it's a star race from Alpha Centauri. They come. They said they come to control humans. How do you control humans? You have to keep them in constant mode of fear and make them disbelieve in their own capabilities and abilities. But there's also a third component that you have to somehow also stagnate the consciousness growth. And if it doesn't work, you can use devices to infiltrate certain groups of society to infect it with disinformation and lines. You can connect them, you can hook them into the egregore of fake information, basically coming from. There's a lot of them. There's Zeta Grays, there's reptilians, the Mitras, there are Tall Grays. A lot of them are coming up with these programs. But a lot of times to create a protocol, how to do this or that, they have to turn to Nordics or other star races currently incarnated on Earth. So we eliminated the clones. That was him telling me. So clones, eliminated hybrids, gone. Implants. One's gone. Stomach seems to be. Let me touch it. Stomach is fine, back is fine, the back, there's all the cords and everything are disconnected from the other lives too. You changed a lot of lives, a lot of timelines to create positive outcomes in each and every one. But you're saying that you don't want to be slave to this particular aspect of you, I guess. That is following the commands and doing something you don't want to do. And that's why you decided to disconnect. That's your desire, that's your understanding. You want to be, you're tired of all these lives that you've had here and you want to be back with your blue people, which you are, but one little fragment of you is still stuck on the body computer that is embedded into the matrix program that we're all sitting in. And when you decide that this body is no longer good enough for you, you'll just go back to, it's like you call them my blue people. You don't call them the family, but in that planet, everybody's separate, but yet everybody's the same. You all have different ideas, very bright, very interesting, and you discuss it. It's almost like everybody's a speaker, and you express you because of that ability to express. You love talking, and when you talk, you have this ability to engage and cover, create the energetic environment for somebody who listens to you. And that was part of the plan why they took you on missions, because you know how to almost, let's say, hypnotize with the eyes, because you had all kinds of devices embedded and also outside of your eyes. If I look through different programs, then you do. Uh, you've been also some sort of military. I see you flying helicopter, and when I looked at the helicopter, I see the mountains, and what came to me is Montenegro. It's in former Yugoslavia. Is that came to me? Yeah, it's very beautiful mountains and the sea. I see in a uniform. Year 1936/38. It's a different life. They call you Jacek? Jacek? Haczynski? It's like you're Polish or something. But you work there. You know how to fly helicopter. You know how to fly different models of planes. There's some military operations going on because you're like lifting huge tubes. I suspect those are rockets or something. It feels like an ammunition. You take it from one part of the country to another. I better get out of there. I start getting a headache from that thing. Because that life ends. I know why you brought me here. That life ends. That there is a mine. There's a field of mines, and you explode on one of the mines. 1938. So it takes your life. So it's very traumatic life. But what happens is you lose the body, your soul automatically shoots out. I see it's going through the top of your head, right into the spaceship on this metallic bed where I saw you right in the beginning of the session. So you have to disconnect from all those programs and from all those star races. Well, the contracts are destroyed, so that's the most important thing. They cannot use you anymore. But basically, because you've spent so many lives doing it, you know a lot of people, and all the people that you meet in life, either by accident or just by your decision to go to them, it's because you know them from something. But you've also, through that implant on your head that you removed, you've had different suggestions whom to go to, because some of those people are designed to, it's like when you connect to others, eh, and if others also have implants, it creates a certain, it's like a human portal for other star beings or low vibrational beings to come in to the physical level from the fourth dimension. So that's what they do. Um, but yeah, I see you clean, and I also saw how you jumped into the sea and you cleansed your mental, emotional bodies, and they had a lot of holes as if somebody was shooting into them. And the holes were connected to the psychological, that's at the physical level, but also mental and emotional trauma. And that's why mental emotional bodies have holes, because they've been touched by different things that you had to do. You've been a Kruger, but you've been like a soldier, and then you went to Dark Fleet. Because I see you a lot. I see you in gray uniforms with the stripes on the side. And then I see you in black uniform. In black uniform, you, like I said, you were a commander. But they prepared you over over the lives that you had here on Earth, and they've been taking you a lot as a child. on spaceships, and it's almost like a student exchange program, I would say, because it looks kind of interesting. You're sitting next to some alien being child, and through locking into the eyes into each other, you exchange information. And that's like Zeta Grace organized this particular program to because souls in human bodies whom they wanted to use for different programs needed to know more about other star races, which they were made to forget in a way. But this was like an activation of the memory that they already had by doing that. It's basically what I see. I don't know if you want to go to a particular episode of your life and see what happened there, or because I see you clean right now. I didn't see you having any attachments or anything. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. See, when I went to Okinawa at Kadena Air Base, um, it was 18 months basically living alone. I did a lot of meditating at Makamanado during my lunch hour. Um, the office was in a warehouse that had big, heavy doors, like munitions were kept in those buildings. But one of the photographs that I took was a dove sitting on top of a dragon head, and it was like I brought the reptilian to peace.
Mm-hmm. It was one of your instructors. He would instruct you a lot. He has a stripe and the dots on the sides of the stripe on his spinal cord. And I see him having red eyes right now because he's getting angry. He changes the color of his eyes too.
Okay. At the space conference, I was riding my Segway and I was taking it up a grassy slope, but I had ridden this type of slope before, and the Segway should have gone up, and it stalled and flipped me over backwards, and I have some scar tissue on the backside of this hand, which I think just subconsciously my judo instructions from college kept me from cracking my head on the ground because it was kind of a rocky area and grass and everything. But I was told by Ivan Tiller that reptilians didn't want me there, and that I was pushed off the Segway.
Yeah, there's some force that is pushing you off. Um, you also come up as a rebellious student to me because you've had instructors. There's one I see is very prolonged, like almost like you know, ancient wolf kind of being's face, and like eyes, reptilian eyes. He has some interesting color in his neck, which has some, it's almost like letters, but I don't know what it is. Interesting shapes, very complex.
There was a
They've been punishing you quite a bit, and that was one of the punishments. So I agree
yeah,
on that one.
yeah.
But that wasn't the only one. They would connect you to, they would strap you to the electric chair. I see that. zap
Yeah.
you, and then you would have hallucinations and double, triple vision and things like that. And then you would see like a hole into through the realities, layers of realities, and you would get a glimpse on at the same time of different realities because there's like a shock, it affects the physical body, physical eyes too.
Hmm.
Because they would push your energy body out of your physical body and would put it on there are specific rooms on Mars that they can do it there. That's what I see underground facilities right now. They would do it in this laboratories on these chairs,
Okay.
old
Um,
looking chairs too.
what do you see my relationship with in, the Galactic Federation of Worlds?
Here's the thing. There is a reptilian galactic federation because I see different reptilian races, very, very ancient ones, starting from there. But they corrupted this federation. That's what um if you could see what I see very big table of different reptilian races. Some of them have almost like painted face with dots and triangles on the sides. Um, and you yourself, what I see you at this round table with your blue people, with your own people from your planet, from your own galaxy. So I but they all have this integration. Mm, it's like conferences, right? They'll
Mhm.
connect. What I see is, I told you, remember, I see a lot of platforms. So there are some platforms, and they're hanging in between the galaxies or in between the planets. So there's just like a common ground. It's neutral, but it connects to the other planets. So you can all come together for a conference or a discussion of certain things. What you usually do is you negotiate some things. Um, let's say you exchange the prisoners that Dracos took as prisoners from one planet for something they need as technology, let's say. And this way you would save the representatives or the population of that planet. Things like that. It's almost like a peacemaker that you are, I feel. I told you you're into diplomatic type of relationships on that intergalactic level, let's say, because in every industry, if you can call them industries, how everything functions. But that gives you the perception of the how everything they do can be pro or against the laws of the universe. And right now, there's a lot of things going on with the changing of the programming of the universe, let's say programming, because each and every one of us as a creative being who created this universe, because we all were participating in this huge giant creation of this universe, we are trying to decide at the etheric level with our etheric bodies um, what to do about it, how to speed it up, how to cause, how to oppose the forces that are against um, star race that we call humanoid
Hmm.
form, things like that.
Yeah. Okay. There was another dream that's kind of like a floating gazebo that had white linens um, draped from the the ceilings, but it was like it was a three-layer uh, gazebo, and you would walk counterclockwise, and then clockwise, I think, and then counterclockwise. And nothing was spoken. Everything was silent, and people were wearing cloaks, hooded, and but it was very serene, very peaceful. I remember being there twice in my dreams.
That's on one of the projections of Earth. First, to me, what came is like Atlantis that was taken over by a different star race. They came from Bootes constellation. Um, the reason why they're cloaked, pretty ugly looking. I don't have a good feeling from them. Mm, the skin looks like as if it had spots or something when I look at it. So that was the dream that you just saw, because you jump from one projection of Earth to another. You used to do it a lot in the programs that you participated in because it's very easy. That's why you saw it as other projection and different events. Everything's the same but yet different because there's slight variations occurring with each following projection.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I was a toddler, um, I'd have the nightmares of running across alligators or crocodiles and stepping on their snouts just before they'd open them, and I'd hop from one to the other to get across the swamp.
Mm-hmm. It's because crocodiles, you don't have very good memories related to them. A lot of them have been hurting you, or you're inserting some enhancements and some devices into your clones too. And what your clone knows, you know, because you were connected before, so you would get information from the clone would get information from you. The information would be recorded and taken into the database. It's done on purpose. They're doing a lot of clones of souls that have a lot of experience on purpose for that, for informational reasons.
Yeah, and you said I was taken a lot when I was very, very young, and I would have, I'd wake up falling into my bed, and I would, I was a bedwetter too, till probably age 8, and that prohibited me from going to summer camps because they would not allow a bedwetter in a summer camp, and so I had to get that part taken care of, and I guess with age, but and I suffered a lot of nosebleeds too in that period from 5 to 7.
I see your face as a boy, and I see how they would take you. A lot of times they would even take you physically too. So it was both. And they created all kinds of situations and conditions for you not to go here or there, not to do this or that, because they wanted you to preserve the energy and be separated in a way from the rest. They didn't want you to play with other kids. They didn't want you to be busy with anything but rather under their observation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, mother and father both were World War II veterans. Father was a B-24 bomber pilot, 35 missions, brought back 3 aircraft that could never fly again. Always, his crew members never were injured. Mother was an air evac nurse stateside, transporting hospitals from hospital to hospital. and I think I chose them purposely. But one time I remember being home by myself and playing with a little wind up train set on the living room floor, and I couldn't figure out where my parents were and where my brother and sister were. But I just remember the statement that mom always said that bad news travels faster than good news. So I just waited there until they got home.
Mm-hmm. Because your intuition also is very, it's like you feel and see, and you went to special, it's like I told you, it's a special school. When you exchange knowledge was different. I see you sitting next to a Lyran being. I see you sitting next to a very interesting kind of like face, another being. And there are different kind of ways when they look at it, when you look at each other, you exchange the information. It's constant. It's like a spark that is sent. An impulse that contains information. An impulse is composed of the light, and it's like light and sound and informational kind of wave. So you've been always connected through those invisible radio waves
Okay,
to your people.
yeah, I noticed on my forehead, and if you can see the prominent uh, vertical lines, left and right side,
Mm.
that kind of always I would sit there and wonder, who am I communicating to? Are those my antennas? And you mentioned that I had four antennas at one time, two in the back and two in the front. And uh, are are these marks left over from the ones that we took out from the front side?
Yeah, well, they've been doing quite a bit of etheric implant removal and exchange back and forth. But yeah, it's very possible that this ring, this particular implant, was causing all kinds of things, including pressure in the head, or some strange sensations too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I've committed myself to taking a course in, let's say, understanding my consciousness and to take it into a everyday realization, not so much hypnosis, but uh, becoming more aware of, consciously aware of, let's say, my galactic family, and being aware of any alien being that is trying to communicate with me or in my presence. So it's 36 weeks of study with this Dr. Shirley Ann Ryan. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm in some sort of room. It's made out of squares. It's just golden squares. He has a lot of statues. He has a lot of beautiful kind of like flower type, prolonged with spikes, decorations all inside. And I see it's like your subconscious calls it a trap machine. Um, what your subconscious is saying basically, you can take any course, but take what you feel belongs to you. Because anything can hook you and trap you into it. There's a lot of people who are controlled, but there's groups that have more than 3 people are usually controlled by beings. So just be careful, but trust your intuition. If you feel like that's something keeps you busy and keeps you curious and interested, go for it. But that's what your subconscious says. I feel like it's very cannot say you tell you yes or no. That's always your decision because you're the one to decide for yourself, your rational part. Your subconscious part says yes, go for it, but be careful, don't get too much into the I see like water and I see you walking into it. And just stand at your waistline. Don't go with your head in. That's a metaphor that your subconscious showing me.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have this in you when you like going into with your head in. It comes from your missions from the World War II, from that one when you're pilots and you've been pilot quite a bit, because you would go to, if the commander tells you to do this and that, you would do anything to complete the mission. And that kind of transmits into your current life too, affects you deeply, that you're just like going until the end. If you want to know something, you'll get every single source of information and go deeply into it, you know? But that's just your character. That's how you are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, I'm thinking about investing in a new tool. It's called iTerraCare, and it uses frequency in the terahertz range and ion emissions, and they energize water, and that activates the body, makes the body stronger. If you drink water that's been energized by this wand, they call it a TerraCare wand. It's made in Malaysia, and it's been around since maybe 2015. And also, it is used in healing and stimulating stem cell growth. Uh, but I've also been using LifeWave patches by Dr. David Schmidt out of California, which
Or
which reflects the infrared energy from the body back
it's
into
like
the cells.
the way I see it. What is it? Sorry.
The LifeWave patch, I think I'm wearing one. Yes, this is what they call X39.
Oh, really? Because I see it like different circles, connected in lines and rows and rows and rows. And then there is in the middle, it's like a target type
Mm-hmm.
dot in the middle
Yes.
on each one. And it just creates a field. It kind of pulls your own energy. And if it's a positive energy, high vibrational, it amplifies it and it creates some sort of flower. But the flower looks like a spongy kind of thingy, interesting. It kind of pulls it like somebody's pulling the petals out. If it's energy, it prolongs the petals. It makes them kind of rather spiky almost.
Yeah, that's the patch.
Oh, okay.
And so copper peptide is the enzyme that it is targeting. And that is supposed to communicate with the mitochondria, and that then communicates to all the cells of the body. And
It's
the
like a
one,
catalyst.
yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, you wear it 12 hours on and 12 hours off. But it's,
Mm.
and if you are allergic to the adhesive, you can put it on your clothes, and it still has the same effect.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, it spreads, but People have to be careful if they're negatively charged. They would just charge you up even more negative. So it depends.
Uh, so
But yeah,
far,
I see it
so
in
good.
like
Yeah.
pink and magenta colors, like the energy.
Okay.
What from you, coming from you. Even though I see you blue,
Mhm.
otherwise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My left knee is bone on bone, according to an orthopedic doctor, but it doesn't really slow me down. Um, and I use the patches down there every once in a while.
Because you had those boots on. Those were implants. They were very tall boots, kind of military style, and they are. It's imagine it's always heavy weight on your legs.
Mm-hmm. So I do wear compression socks every once in a while to keep
Oh,
to keep my ankles from swelling.
because well, the boots are gone, so they might go back to normal slowly, or
Yeah,
maybe fast. You never know. But it's kind of like it's either your pilot or running through fields and fields until you get to the final destination. You're very determined. You become like obsessed with the goal.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I definitely saw that. I just
Yeah.
opened my eyes because I had to turn on the light. I was in complete darkness. People always
Yeah.
ask, like, what is this behind you? Is it like some sort of beings or ghosts or
Yeah.
something?
I, I,
We both
I'm
have with you with this fake
yeah.
background.
Um, I'm gonna send to your email a it's a PGF. It's a photo um,
Alright.
of a series of hearts in a like a hologram. And
Mm-hmm.
when you look at it and you let your eyes go askance, you will
Oh, it
see
creates a different
you
picture.
will no it cuts out the heart,
Mm.
and then I've gone so much into it, I've seen triple hearts inside it, but it's a it's something that you can send to somebody to motivate somebody with love.
That's
And
nice. Thank
so,
you.
you send it to your Ukraine friends,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Nice. Thank you.
and even your Russian friends that you have too.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, I do. I do. As a
very,
matter of fact,
very,
the woman who edits my videos lives in Russia. She's my
uh,
ex-client too.
very interesting event when I was a young Air Force sergeant living in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I was taking a psychology course, and the professor knew some Russian men that probably were from the Ukraine, but it was still the USSR at that time.
Yeah.
They they came over to Texas to buy used oil rigs, and so we were at a dinner at a professor's house, and there was about 6 of these old men, my dad's
Mm-hmm.
age, and all they could talk about was their teenage kids, rock and roll, long haired, undisciplined, yada yada. I mean, I just inside I was laughing. I mean,
Yeah.
there was no difference culture wise
No difference for
between the
sure.
teenager there, the teenager here, and so I had an exchange student from Switzerland live with my family when I was in high school.
Mm.
I've been there 4 times. Uh, I've been back to Turkey once in 2010, and I met this woman online, and she said, like, when are you coming? And I said, well, I didn't know that I was going to come over there. I said, well, wait a moment. And my wife at that time, she had ovarian cancer, and she was in her second year with that. and there was a wedding going on with the exchange student's daughter in Germany in July, and I had the date set. But I picked out the date that I was going to fly to Switzerland, take a Turkish airline to Istanbul.
Mm.
They met me, put me up in the hotel, Angels Rest Hotel near the Blue Mosque, and her and her son, we traveled all around Istanbul for 3 days, and went up the the Bosporus to the Black Sea on a boat, and back down, and got to see the underground area where the movie From Russia with Love was was made when they were in Istanbul in that area, and that was one of my favorite James Bond's movies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
at that time, and so, but I was amazed that I picked out the exact week that my exchange student's daughter was getting married, and so, I mean, no written information, just she was getting married in July, but nobody said when.
That's
Yeah,
funny. Let me turn off the recording maybe.
all
So
right.
it's recording.